You'll remember on the show yesterday, Lorraine was talking about Elton John after footage emerged of him having an outburst during a recording session. Well, it was actually whilst he was making an album with my next guest, Brandi, Carlile, when they allowed cameras into their studio. Brandi, Carlile joins us now. I'm so thrilled that you're here, Brandi. Honestly, a huge fan of your music and a huge fan of this new album and the new single that's out, of course. And Elton John, just watching that video, you were in the studio with him there, and he released this footage himself, and he addressed it afterwards, just said, I was tired, and he had doubts, and it gives you a real insight into the insecurity he still feels when it comes to making good music, even after all of these years.
Oh yeah, I've never seen somebody care so much, and somebody so ready to laugh at themselves too. Like, he's just really a deeply human person, and honestly, it's really kind of refreshing to see somebody act how they feel. But yeah, it was a wild ride, and one that I would actually go on again.
Yes, what was it like in that studio? What was the atmosphere like? I mean, this is someone you've admired since you were a kid.
Yeah, well, Elton's been my hero since I was 11 years old, and that has been an interesting kind of passenger in my friendship and creative relationship with him for the last 17, 18 years. But being in the studio together and having all that experience, I think our friendship really grew up in that 20 days, you know? It was absolutely amazing. I witnessed a master at work in a way that you almost can't fathom. Like, I wonder what it would have been like to see Beethoven create or Shakespeare, and I think that Elton's music will be remembered that way. It's incredibly complex.
20 days, that in itself, that's a masterpiece in itself, and to be able to create it in that amount of time, because you wrote the lyrics and then he did the music. So this was the collaboration.
Yeah, and actually he leaned in on lyrics sometimes and I leaned in on music, and we actually both did a little of everything, and Bernie Taupin was involved and Andrew Watt, the producer. It was just incredible. I've never made music like that before, and I hope to always maybe approach music that way.
Well, Who Believes in Angels? It's out now, the single. That's so fabulous. And I've got to ask you, what is it like being nominated for an Oscar?
It's
because off the back of this, isn't it? It was a track, of course, on the album, which was linked to Elton's documentary. And now head into the Oscars.
I know. I don't know what's crazier, being nominated for an Oscar or being nominated for an Oscar alongside Elton John. You know, because when I found
Tell your 11-year-old self that.
Yeah, well, because it was the 90s, right? So he was winning that Oscar for The Lion King, and that's how I was kind of witnessing his sort of star power, was like via the Oscars, and here we are, I'm in my 40s nominated for an Oscar with Elton John. It's what the hell?
That's going to be quite a night.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
A celebration either way, but it's looking very positive. I mean, he was sort of the gateway to a lot of your musical references, I think, as well, when you were growing. There was the U2 and Kate Bush, and there's a lot of British and Irish influences. Sinead O'Connor, I know you're fans of all of these performers. So he was hugely influential, and like you say, he's part of the family at this point. But I guess that's why you enjoy touring over here in the UK and Europe so much, which is what's coming up as well.
Yeah, well, I always wanted to do it. Ever since I was a kid, I was reading about these artists, and I had got that biography, Elton John, by Philip Norman, as like a 12-year-old. I got that from the library, and that's how I discovered all of these artists, but also these landmarks and these venues and these places over here were just calling me out of my little town. And so yeah, when I'm here, it's really surreal.
And this is the Lost Time tour. So kicking off at the Royal Albert Hall.
Yes, ma'am.
That is quite
June 20th.
Oh,
I couldn't forget that day. That's a dream.
And so I love the fact you still get excited about these things. You know, you've accomplished so much already, but yet it's still pinch me moments for you.
Oh yeah, that just never goes. That never goes. And the minute it does go, you have a problem, you know. But I have always wanted to even step inside and see Royal Albert Hall, like since I was a little girl. So it's going to be actually an emotional night for me.
Of course it will. And then the London Palladium, then this is a very special one. Tell us about that. This is you and Elton again.
Well, that's me and Elton, and the man is a wild bride, so you never really know what's going to happen when we get together, if we're going to talk and laugh, which songs we're going to sing, what we're going to do. Is still a little bit TBD, but the spontaneity of it, that's what this album is, so it's what that night should be. I definitely don't recommend missing it.
Oh, that is incredible. So, and you, sort of, your family, you kind of, I know that your daughters are getting older now, but you all love to just pack up your bags and go together. It is a bit of a family affair when you go on the road like this.
We've always been together. I have a really hard time being away from my babies. Oh, there they are.
And Catherine, of course, who is British. So,
Yeah.
you know, you've got a good guide when you come back.
Yeah, we
here.
got married here, and we spend time here with the family. We don't spend enough musical time here, but that's all changing, isn't it?
Of course, there's lots going on. There's so much happening for you right now. I mean, gosh, Joni Mitchell even, you know, your jamming sessions there recently were such a big deal. And there's so much happening. And like I say, Oscar's just around the corner. It's fabulous to actually meet you, Brandi.
It's great to meet you too.
Beautiful album, gorgeous single. The single is Who Believes in Angels. It is out now, and the album will follow on the 4th of April. And you can watch the Oscars and find out if Brandi and Elton pick up the award. They have to, obviously. You can watch it right here on ITV1 and ITVX. Thanks so much, Brandi.
Thank you.
Enjoy it all.
Thanks a lot.
Hi there. Thanks for watching our YouTube channel where we upload new videos every single day. You can click here if you're interested in this video or head to the homepage for some more amazing content.